Alright. Figured if I'm going to talk about Resident Evil 7, I would go ahead and play the demo here while I talked about it. So for anybody that hasn't seen this, and this is your first thing, this is Get Out of the House. Okay. The atmosphere is really good. Like, really, truly good. Here's this piece of paper here. I shall dash them against the stones. Remember that paper is there. It's kind of nice and creepy. There, you need a videotape. I mean, this is my second time going through this. This time I will go upstairs, because last time I did not. There's the sound of a dude walking. Now, the first time I ran this, I made it all the way to the end of it. I don't know if you can necessarily fail it or whatever. Okay, that area is all boarded up. Can't look at the picture. There are certain things you can interact with, which I thought was cool. The pictures add an interesting atmosphere. This especially is interesting. I don't know if they're going to go over this, but there's no faces. Like, her face is covered up. And then I also noticed that there's a picture over here where this face is very covered up, wearing a sack even. Open that, take the dummy finger. I did not figure out what to do with that my first run through. The inventory system seems good, but I will say that this whole thing, this whole demo doesn't give me necessarily the Resident Evil feeling. Oh, well, look at that. I did not come up here the first time. You got a pole about to go in your butt, lady. Can't open that. You don't need fingers. Whoa, whoa, wait a minute. That's some creepy shit. Okay, that was nice. That was a nice effect right there. Because these things moved. They were all looking in the corner, and then I'm positive that they just turned around. So that's a nice effect. I don't know what much to say, honestly. Can open the fridge. It's gross. There you go. That was enjoyable, right? There's a crow. I don't know if... At least I think that's a crow in there. I don't know if that's a throwback to, like, the original Resident Evil games or something like that. Like I'm supposed to notice something. What's the water do? Is it all gross water? Oh, okay. Well, I turned the water off. That's fine. Shit was that? Oh, oh! Let's check our hungriness. Oh, okay. Controllers. Fun are gonna die and bugs are on me, so let's... There we go. Fixed. Okay. This is what I'm actually here to do, is talk about what I think about this Resident Evil here, because I've already played through this once, and it was enjoyable, but I gotta say, I don't really get Resident Evil feeling from this game. Maybe that's just me? That's not necessarily a bad thing. Don't take that idea as to me saying something negative, but it doesn't feel like Resident Evil. And maybe, just maybe, that's necessary now. Because it's starting to feel stale, like Resident Evil has ran its course, and it's become, in my opinion, it's been an action game since Resident Evil 2. But there were still an awful lot of people that were mad that the last ones felt too much like an action game. There's a baby doll fell down. Okay, you can't open that. You know, this feels like that other game that I was playing, where I was playing Condemned and I was running around. In fact, yeah, that's funny that just happened right there. But is that a bad thing? Is it a good thing? I'm really torn on this because I think Resident Evil does need some new direction, but at the same time, I can't help but realize that this feels nothing like Resident Evil. And that makes me wonder if maybe they had a really, really good game and they just needed a name to sell the game. Go open this up. Oh, and then just for added effect, don't look at me. Try to play the piano, and the piano's a big no. Nope, no piano for you. Only scary for you. There. And then you play the tape. This part's pretty cool. Like, I like everything about this demo, but I just don't feel like it's Resident Evil. It doesn't... What biohazard is happening here except for maybe that guy should take his trash out?
Boo. Where did you find this guy?
Give me a break, dude.
Hey, and I agree with that. If this is what it takes to bring the scariness back to Resident Evil, then I'm not against it.
It was 2 fucking
but
years ago.
I don't do ADR.
I don't know.
This new guy? I'm not feeling it.
Like, what do we do? What do we do later on now? In terms of all the other characters that have existed? Can I play with the swing? No.
First,
like, is this basically going to go an entire new direction? And did the history of Resident Evil still happen? Because these guys are like producers. They're making a
Happy?
No, zombies. They were never zombies to begin with. GS79. My buddy Scott says zombies, but they were never zombies to begin with. It was always Biohazard is the actual name of the game, and it always deals with biological contaminants, diseases, and like apocalyptic, world-ending biological disasters, basically.
It's loud.
But that's not what this is, and I can't help but wonder. These guys are doing like a scary show, like, oh, we're going to go to this farmer's house where these people died, and it's haunted, and we're going to go there at night, and it's going to be, you know, we're going to get our ratings. That's basically what these guys are doing. And then something happens. I'm guessing you're the cameraman. You wake up in the house.
What's that?
Nothing.
Which all goes for some nice scary stuff. But I can't help but wonder if they had something here, like they knew this game was going to be scary, but then they had a cash cow called Resident Evil,
3 years.
so they slapped the name Resident Evil on it.
Clancy, get a shot of this. Let's make a great cutaway. So, Hillbilly Joe and his family go missing.
Not hillbillies, the Bakers. Jack and Marguerite Baker. And they were quiet, not backward. A lot of bad rumors about their son, Lucas. Bad seed, apparently.
Ah, shit. I knew I should have worn my good shoes. Oh, shit. Glad I had my shots.
Really?
Although,
That's gay. I couldn't follow him.
Backdrop. Andre, what do you think? Andre?
Yeah, he took off, and it won't let me follow him.
Andre!
Yeah, he went that way.
Andre! Clancy, you see where Andre went? Where is he? Unfucking believable. This is the last
No,
time
because
I
it's
worked
still
with that
first
guy.
person, too.
I
So
mean,
that's...
producers, they come and go, but
Like, that kind of
cameraman
bothers
like
me,
you,
too,
Clancy?
in terms of being Resident Evil.
He's
Can I go up
different.
here with the camera? Hold on, guy. I want to look at stuff up here. Holy crap, I can't see shit. And there's no mannequins up here. Dude, somebody was jamming. Alright, I'm coming back down. Guy, I need your flashlight. I can barely see shit. Okay, I'm here.
What the fuck was that?
I don't
Did
know.
you hear that?
Yeah, it was in that room. Go check it out.
Andre? Where the fuck is he?
I think that first person, in terms of the question here, I think that first person is
Andre, where are you, man?
a little bit of a scarier approach because they can portray things like, okay, there are certain scares, like earlier in this video, I went upstairs and there were a bunch of dummies facing the wall, like mannequins, and I went up there and I looked at the mannequins and then I turned around to look at something else, and when I turned back around, all the mannequins had moved. And you can't do that in third person, at least not to the same effect.
We find Andre and we go. I mean, fuck this show.
So this helps put you in the moment of what's happening a little more, but I can't help but feel like Resident Evil over the years has turned into a survival horror battle type game, almost like The Suffering, and this is simply not it.
You first.
And that's another problem. You just nailed it. You just said, oh, well, first person adds the VR possibility, and that scares me. I don't play first person games usually. And now all of a sudden, here in the future, coming up, there's going to be a whole bunch of first person games all the time. Nothing but first person games coming out. So I better get used to them first person games. And this kind of reminds me of the Blair Witch, which has another part coming out. I don't care what you say. I liked the first one. Didn't care at all for the second one. I'm kind of looking forward to the third one. Now let's touch our friend. Oh boy. You know, you died pretty silently too. I would like to just point that out. Because we never heard you die. Oh, and then the paper's been moved over here. See, little things like that, I don't think you can get away with this kind of story, this creepy house thing as well in third person. Can you imagine if you'd have played the entire Resident Evil Revelations in first person? It would have been a very different game, and they would have had very different scare factors. Okay, now we go in here, and there's a table, and I have no clue how much time has passed or anything like that. And I'm sure you'd figure all this out when you played the actual game, but you could tell that the house that they went into is definitely not the exact same way that he woke up in it, anyway. There goes that guy. We're going to try to see him. Oh, damn, he walks fast. Oh, see, then now there's all of a sudden all these little dolls. These weren't here. Like, you could have added them into third person, and I guess you could have still been like, but the game would have told you. You'd have walked around this corner, and it would have said, these dolls weren't here before, because it wouldn't have just guaranteed that you would have known that. Where in first person, you're more prone to actually look at what's going on around you, so you're more it's a bigger chance that you're going to see what's going on. And now see, these are here, but the fourth mannequin is missing. It's not here anymore. And the headphones are gone, so it's definitely not the exact same thing. And no, Silent Hill hasn't really done the third person either. These mannequins are creepy as shit. Especially this one. I don't know why this one is creepier than the others, but it is. And I think that Silent Hill works, and you know, that's been a third person game for a very, very long time as well. Small keyhole, that would be later. See, and there's the fourth one. And then you gotta wonder, are they like... See, because I know what's about to happen here, and it makes me say... There must be an awful lot of cubby holes in this house. Oh, pff, derp. There. Unlock the door.
Welcome to the family, son.
And there's that. That is the Resident Evil 7 demo thing. That's all of it. That's start to finish.
Still.
And like I said, I'm really digging this. I think it's definitely something I want to buy, but I can't help but feel like they had a scary game here, and they just slapped the name Resident Evil on it. Because it's too late, guys. I mean, say what you will and love what you'll want, but Resident Evil 1, you walked around, you shot guns, monsters came at you, like... It wasn't quite an action game. It was a survival horror, but it was an action game. It's just a lower tier than what the run and guns are. Then Part 2 picked it up, adding explosive barrels, giving you more weapons and more bullets, more enemies to kill, and a bigger range of enemies. And then Resident Evil 3 took it up another step by giving you machine guns and crap like that, and allowing you dodge functions so that you can actually beat Resident Evil 3 with the knife if you learn the dodge function. Then Resident Evil 4 comes along, and over-the-shoulder firing and moving and that sense of tension, and yeah, it's in a creepy atmosphere, but it's action games. Resident Evil has always been an action-based game. Now this one comes along, and it's definitely more scary. Like, the first time I was playing it, it was very genuinely creepy, and I enjoyed the atmosphere that it put me in, and I like the house, and I'm into the whole creepy farmer stuff, because I've lived in that kind of territory where I remember the first time I stayed with my grandparents when they were on the farm. They used to go to sleep and leave their doors and windows open, like literally wide open. And that used to scare the hell out of me coming from the city, because I'm just sleeping there, and they'd be like, you could sleep on this couch or whatever. And I'm on the couch in the living room, and the door is open, and anybody could just come in from anywhere in the house, and there'd be nothing to stop them. So there is a different attitude, and people are a little more to themselves, at least from the countryside that I lived in. I noticed that. So I'm into the whole countryside horror, I guess. That works for me. I don't mind it. But that's that. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but I have no choice but to say I think they had a different game that was in development that started looking really good, and they didn't know what to do with it. And of course, you can't nowadays. You don't want to take the chance of making a game this big and putting it out and not having it sell. So I think what they did was they were like, people think Resident Evil's not scary anymore. And they were like, oh, well, shit, this game's pretty scary. What if we slap Resident Evil on it? And then I have no choice but to be like, when is this taking place? What does it have to do with Resident Evil? If I've devoted myself to 6 games, good or bad, and learned all the story and the characters and the intricacies of all the different storylines and the way they shape together and the universe they build, then all of a sudden I'm on a farm with some crazy serial killer dude that, like, is keeping me in his house and scaring me, and he doesn't know how to take his garbage out. Because that dude did not seem... It didn't seem like he was infected or nothing like that. It's not like it's not even the other thing that I would have done with something like this, a first person game where I wake up in the house. I would have woke up in the house and had myself trapped in it, and it would have been real super creepy and everything, and I could have had the garbage piling up and whatnot, and then I could have tried to get out of the house. And the whole time I'm trying to get out of the house, I don't know who I am because of amnesia, some accident, I fell off of something. And when I finally escape the house and move out into the woods, I'm actually in Resident Evil 1. And this is the very beginning of everything. That game would have been very interesting to me because they could have done it from first person. They could have made me a person with no weapon. I could have woke up not knowing that I was in that kind of situation, and then they could have built Resident Evil around me off of that scenario. But this just, it doesn't feel like that. Oh man, Outlast, holy shit, man. Outlast is a beautiful game, and Outlast 2, yes, I'm looking forward to Outlast 2. That also looks awesome, and that's what this game primarily reminds me of, is Outlast. Well, that's all I had. That's the only reason I was really coming in here, was just give my thoughts on Resident Evil 7, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but I might have to give this game a different name just for my own benefit. I might erase Resident Evil 7 from the top and just start calling this Beginning Hour. Yeah,